Okay, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Accommodation Show. This week, we're going to be talking all things trust, all things property management companies, and how to build a new startup. I'm joined by one of my good friends, the wonderful Brooke Pfautz from Venturi and from Comparent. How are you going, Brooke?
Bart, what's going on, man? How are you?
Yeah, very well, thanks. I know that, as per usual, it's the end of the day for you, the start of mine. So I appreciate you taking the time out after a long day. But it's nice for me because I get to start off my day on a positive foot.
Love it. Yeah, no, it's exciting to be here and happy to kick off your day. Hope you don't mind. I'm having a cocktail already.
Oh, wow. Now I'm on my first coffee for the day, so it is completely reversed. Brooke, it was great to see you at VRMA to share some stories and a bit of time over there. It's been incredible to watch your journey. The first time we encountered was when you published or you put up a post on LinkedIn that you had got a new book from 0 to 500 properties. Then I started to get to know you. And one thing we're talking about just before we got started is you are an entrepreneur at heart. You love startups. You love building cool stuff. I've been following, and folks, if you haven't followed Brooke, I recommend that you do because he connects with everybody in the industry and he gets as much information out of them to create really cool solutions for them. Now, I think that's a bit of an introduction there. Now, Brooke reached out because he's got a really cool new product. And the reason why I wanted to do this interview, and generally I don't do interviews about products as such, is because you're solving a real problem which is out there. And I want you to talk to that problem a little bit, and then we can kind of go into some of the mechanics of it and how people will be able to benefit from these sorts of tools that you've created and how they can think about getting more customers into their business.
Yeah, so the company is called Comparent, and I've literally had this idea, Bart, for probably close to a decade, but it's just different things came around, and obviously Venturi started, so I didn't have the time and the bandwidth exactly to start it, but and we also didn't have the data. So Comparent is a marketplace really that connects vacation rental homeowners and professional vacation rental managers. And if you think about it, if you're a vacation rental homeowner, there isn't any website out there that gives you the data, that gives you the metrics to decide and choose who is a good management company. Like you and I, like let's say our brother or sister were to buy a vacation home and they were to ask us, say, hey, Bart, will you help us, find a good professional manager? Because we don't have the time or the bandwidth to manage this. We could probably do some research. We could figure it out. We could, go through, pull in some different reports from different companies here and there. And, but the average person can't do that. There isn't any website out there that allows you to shop and compare for professional management. And I thought that needed to be fixed. And then conversely, on the other side of it, if you're a professional vacation rental manager, there isn't any channel that you can go to get more leads, to get more homeowner leads. And it just happened to be that, we have probably what I would argue one of the largest databases of professional vacation rental managers out there. And we have one of the largest databases of vacation rental homeowners out there. And that's what we're trying to do is really just create a marketplace connecting those two, ICPs, if you will, or those two different sets of people,
Yeah, beautiful. So I remember receiving an email about this, and and what I like about you, Brooke, is quite often you've had this idea for 10 years, but we've never talked about it, and then all of a sudden there's this cool thing that's just happening. So you hold your cards close to your chest, and then all of a sudden it's, I've got this tool and it's already up and working, which is great. Now, for the audience, I'll give you a little bit of a run through, and Brooke, you can correct me in bits that I'm wrong. But the whole idea is that if you're a consumer or if you're a homeowner and if you're looking for a management company, and this applies to real estate as well, and I'll talk about that in a second. If you want to find a property management company, you are going through, you might search on Google and whatever comes up first. You're going to look at their website. You're going to look at what they say they're good at. You might look at some of the other properties that they manage, but it doesn't necessarily give you any indication as to what their performance is like, whether they're actually any good, whether they're going to look after you, what their track history is as well. And then the only way as a property management company right now is you can build that trust with your potential clients is one is you can go on to get Google reviews. You can go to Trustpilot, maybe even Capterra, and you can get reviews on there and then put them on your website and say, hey guys, we are trustworthy, that sort of thing, which actually isn't a bad strategy at all. I mean, it works. The only problem with that is that those platforms don't cater specifically to the product that you're looking for. It's not
Right.
like just real estate agents. It's kind of a bit of everything. And it's harder to judge and to compare different service providers in the one area that you're actually looking for. You might look at Trustpilot, for example, and then the property management company doesn't work in your area. So you're wasting a lot of time. The other thing you might do is you might go through referrals, and I get this all the time, Brooke, because I'll have people approach me and say, "Hey, Bart, who's the best property management company?" And I'll be like, "Oh, well, I know these guys and those guys, and they will look after you." And that's what we go on. We go on trust, based on our business relationships, but not necessarily based on the result that they've had with their clients. So what this platform's doing is it's going and letting property the owners leave reviews for property management companies. Is that correct?
That's correct. So yeah, so not only do we obviously pipe in reviews from Airbnb and Verbo, but we're actually going out there and collecting those homeowner reviews as well. So we will be pushing homeowner traffic, to these to this website to leave the reviews. But also, we're looking for our property manager, our vacation rental manager partners to push out the link to all their homeowners to leave those reviews as well. Now we will not take down bad reviews. We've already had a couple property managers ask us that because it has to be transparent. It has to be good. Now, if it's a fake review, and we have some certain things we can do to vet to make sure that they are who they say they are. It's not just a competitor leaving a bogus review. We will take down. You have the ability to log into the system and flag reviews, and we'll give them the ability to take that down if it is a fraudulent review. But we're not going to take down bad reviews. I mean, studies have shown that actually 4.7 to 4.9 stars is actually better than 5 stars in many cases because people don't trust 5 stars. It's fake. But if you have 4.7, then they think it might be a more realistic review.
Yeah, that's interesting. Our review score is actually 4.9 for iBooked Online, and that was through. The one negative review is one that shouldn't be there. Let's say we flagged it multiple times. We want to keep that 5 stars, but maybe we're better off.
It's actually good.
Maybe we're better
it's
off
actually
with
probably
the
a good thing.
4.9.
Yeah.
which is good.
But it's not just reviews. So, here's the thing with marketplaces. It's a little bit of a chicken and egg, right? Like you have to have the content there. You have to have the listings there. So luckily we do have out of the gates at launch, we have over 5,000 companies in there. But not only do we have the reviews from Airbnb, Verbo, and Google My Business, but we also have a lot of the metrics from Airbnb and Verbo. So remember, we go out there, we scrape all the sites, the OTAs. So we're pulling in the ADR. We're pulling in how many properties are there. We're pulling in the occupancy. We're pulling in how many properties they have by property type. We're pulling in how many properties they have by bedroom. So at least when these homeowners start to go to this website, there's 5,000 property managers on that site from day one. And obviously, we want these professional vacation managers to go in and claim their profiles, verify their profiles, and obviously start gathering homeowner reviews because it looks a lot better, obviously, when you fill in that content. But it's 100% for free. We will always have a free option to create your profile or claim your profile and also start gathering homeowner reviews. That'll always be there. So our number one focus here is really to create that trust, create that transparency, because it's never really existed. And this is not a novel concept, Bart. I mean, this has been done in if you look at every other industry out there, you mentioned Capterra before, like this is normal in every other vertical, every other industry. It's just for some reason, it's never been done in short-term rentals. And we figure we were positioned better than anybody to make this happen. So I'd be kicking myself in the tail if I saw, a couple months from now or years from now, somebody else launched this.
Yeah, that's right. Well, and plus, I mean, you've got the industry contacts, the industry know-how, and I think that from my experience of working with you or knowing you, is that you come from it with a really a point of view of trying to solve problems for people. Not so much, all right, great, we'll build a company, we'll make a bunch of money. I mean, that's what we're in it for. but really it's that kind of fundamental of like, how do we actually solve this problem, and what is the problem that we actually have? And this is a genuine issue where figuring out which property management companies are the best is really tricky. And
Yeah.
that kind of goes to awards as well. So we look at companies that have been awarded for being best property management company. And funnily enough, this is a little bit top secret, but we're looking at doing some awards as well for Strive over here in Australia for our conference. And we're looking at criteria and how do we judge these different companies, and how do we figure out who the best property management company is, why should they be winning an award, and that sort of thing. When we Brooke, when we think about what makes a property management company good, when we're leaving reviews right now, is it just a 5-star system, or do you have multiple tiers based on different criteria?
Yeah, it's and I don't know exactly off the top of my head. I think there's 5 different categories. It could be from revenue, it could be from cleaning, maintenance, it could be from service. We can actually give the homeowner, there's 5 different subcategories they can rank from. So you can break that down, and they have the ability to obviously leave a headline. They have ability to leave a full review, and then rank each of those 5 subcategories as well. So eventually we'll have, what's great about this is you think about all the data we'll have from this and just seeing how all these companies are performing in all those different categories. In aggregate, I have a feeling we'll have some really, really cool data and content we can publish later on.
Yeah, yeah. Well, absolutely, absolutely. You'll have all of that insight. So yeah, look, it makes sense to have those different review categories, right? We agree on that. Now, if you were to think about different awards, and if you were to think about how they're judged and the kind of the comparative nature. Now, I don't want to say that awards aren't worthwhile, because I think that there's it's really important to get recognition and peer recognition, but this is
Mhm.
different than getting peer recognition for being good at what you do. Here you're actually getting that consumer or customer feedback from the bottom. How much different do you think it will, like in terms of those trust signals? And I guess that behind a lot of what you're doing is about psychology, right, and understanding how consumers behave and why they behave in a certain way. uh, Kind of from your research, what kind of value proposition do you think it provides for the homeowners?
Well, I mean, look, anytime you have a third party, independent third party that is awarding or creating some kind of badge, some kind of trust icon or trust signal, I think that is helpful. And it is regardless, it's not like one of these things where we're giving awards if you pay. This is not a pay to play situation. You have to actually earn the award to be able to get it. But I think I think that's super valuable. If I'm a homeowner and I go in and I see that, hey, out of this, out of my market, this is the only company that actually has been awarded a, Comparent top vacation rental manager badge. I think that says a lot. And we're gonna have different criteria what that means and what that looks like, and we're gonna have different types of awards. We'll have fastest growing, we'll have market leader, we'll have probably a Comparent 100 or a Comparent 500. Kind of the top 500 companies or the top 100 companies, and like I said, those market leaders. But we'll have those different badges, which I think is important. But again, for sure, this is not a pay to play type of a situation. You have to actually earn the award to be able to get it.
And for a homeowner to leave a review, what kind of verifications do you guys have in place, or is it just pretty much email address and then they can go and leave the review?
Yeah, so we do actually have them leave their address, their email, and their phone number, and obviously then the review. Now, what happens is if let's say they left a review for your property management company, Bart, and you went in there and say, "Wait, we do not have a Jim Smith. There's no such Jim Smith at this address. Yeah, he is not one of our homeowners." You can flag that in the back end of our system, and we can pause it for the time being, and we can ask him to prove that he actually is with your management company. So we're not reviewing every single review. We're only,
Hmm.
that trust process is really only happening when somebody actually flags it. So theoretically, you could have somebody that actually goes in there, obviously, and leaves a good review that we could slip through. We don't have obviously the bandwidth to go verify every single one of those.
Yeah.
If they leave a poor review and it is flagged, we can go through there and check that and verify, make sure they actually own that home, make sure they actually are with that management company. And that could be a couple different things, like logging into the back end of the system, showing that it's, in the property management system, showing that they actually do have that, maybe sending a bill, a cell phone bill or something like that, showing that it is actually, your address of that
Yeah.
property.
And I think that just from a dev point of view, you guys will have the opportunity as you continue to grow to vet fake profiles in the other way, right? So companies that have gone there and left reviews for themselves, and they'll have matching IPs, or they'll leave 10 reviews in a row which all sound
Yeah.
the same, and they've got they were left within an hour or whatever, and then you'll be able to, okay, cool, there's an issue here, and then you'll be able to vet those out. Because the good thing for you is that there's not that many property management companies, and the risk for the property management company getting it wrong is, I guess, getting booted from the platform or whatever, if they are trying to be fraudulent. So I think that part will sort itself out as you grow, and you guys will quite easily be able to police that.
Yeah, and we just launched a month ago. We've been live for exactly 4 weeks now, so we will get really good at this process. And again, the good news is, again, there's multiple companies that have done something similar to this, and I'm sure we can learn from them. And don't reinvent the wheel. There's a lot of different systems in place you can do to ensure that look, that trust is so important. Making sure that we're capturing real reviews and real information is really the core fundamental part of this. That's why, again, even if you're a paid subscriber, you're paying me a lot of money, and we haven't even figured out how to monetize this thing, haven't even started even thinking about monetizing it. But even if you are paying us a lot of money, we're not going to take down bad reviews. We will take down fraudulent reviews, but we will not take down bad reviews, because that is key to this. We have to have that trust and credibility from the homeowner's perspective, to be able to, if every single management company has all 5 stars, then you might as well not even have the reviews. Doesn't do any good.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I think that's where, even if you look at some of the OTAs, they've got multiple sort of line items for the reviews, which actually makes them a bit more accurate, rather than saying, hey, they're all 5s or 4s. Then you can actually go, all right, is it a good value for money? Is the location good? And then you can get some real data as to which parts are good and which parts are bad, without necessarily affecting the property. So you're getting more accurate data that you can then make some purchasing decisions on. The same way as, if with this kind of stuff, you'd want to know how, like you said, the cleaners, but also how good it is to work with the team, what's the customer service like, and that sort of thing. And you guys will figure those metrics as you go. I think the one thing that, so there's a company over here called Rate My Agent, and Rate My Agent is for real estate agents. And it's a very similar concept where if you sell a property, then you can, then you can leave a review for the agent that you worked with. It's an interesting one because it's a little bit different, because if you're selling a property, if you get a really high price, you're going to think the agent's amazing, right? But that might not necessarily mean that the agent was amazing. It might just be market conditions as well. So you're waiting for this kind of law of averages to sort of come out to figure out which agents are the best and which ones are the worst. What's interesting is from the agent's perspective, and this is what I want people to, or encourage people to look at this sort of solution, is that if you're a property management company and you've got leads and people coming into you and they're saying, hey, we want to work with you, it's invaluable to be able to show them a list of 100, 200, 300 positive experiences from your owners that they can look at and go, all right, cool, I can see that you're credible, and it's put together by a third party source, or there's a source in the middle that's kind of monitoring those reviews.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, if you, whenever you can have, I mean, you can go there and say as much as you want how great you are and what a great company you are, but it doesn't have that trust and credibility. If it's a third party service, then as long as they trust that third party, then I think it's going to, bode really well. I'll give you kind of a tangential example. So I I had 2 presentations this last year at VRMA, and the first one went great, and then the second one we called a little bit of an audible. What we did is we said, you know what, rather than me going up on stage, Why don't I just have my customers go up on stage and talk about us or talk about just inventory? So we actually put together a panel of like 5 or 6 different of our partners, customers, and they just talked about inventory growth secrets, all the different things that they do. And of course, they would lob out a couple times, that they use Vintory, and how great success they've had. But Bart, that was so much more effective. We probably had a dozen people walk up to us at the booth and say, we sat on a panel and every single person on the panel talked about Vintory. We have to, go talk to you. Now, they weren't lying. They were telling the truth. I didn't pay them to say any of this stuff, but that was so much more effective than if I was sitting up on stage and giving a presentation. It's much more impactful when you get that social proof, that third party social proof.
Yeah, absolutely. It kind of reminds me of a couple of things. So one of the things that we do is we embed widgets onto our websites with reviews from third-party platforms. And the cool thing is that with the way that we do it is that we actually get reviews from Google, AirBNB, Booking.com, TripAdvisor, and they all go into this widget. And then people can actually leave reviews on there as well. So, but then your website becomes a central source of all those different reviews, and you can put the good ones, the bad ones, and everything on there. And for direct booking rates, it helps them shoot through the roof, because
Sure.
when people don't really know who you are, and most people that visit your website the first time have got no idea who you are and how you do business, just seeing that and just getting that trust and going, oh, okay, cool, I can do that. The Black Friday sale is a really good example as well, Brooke, is there's a bunch of products that came across my desk and people say, oh, we should buy this. Look at the sale. It's great. It's 50% off. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Let's have a look at it. And very, very hard to make a decision as to whether it's actually any good. So therefore, we found ourselves going onto the review sites and going, all right, are they good? Aren't they good? One of the things that I found with reviews, actually, and this is a space which I would hope that you can capture, because I believe that Google haven't yet, and I believe that the OTAs haven't done it yet, is I'll give you an example. I'll go to a restaurant. I'll have a really good experience. I'll leave them a 5-star review. A few months later, I'll go in, and then something will happen. The owner's been an absolute ass. Not like just the customer service is woeful. So then I don't necessarily want to remove the 5-star, but I want to give an update and go like, yeah, this place has changed. It's gone downhill. There's new owners, and it now sucks. And there's a lot of businesses that actually do that. They come in and you've got new owners, and the new owners might be far better or far worse, and they've got the repercussions of what happened in the past. So I'm waffling, but the point is this: is that quite often when you look at reviews for different services, the level of service changes over time. So looking at a review from 5 years ago is kind of redundant information. It doesn't really help you figure out, it's almost like pre-COVID to now. It's like they're different businesses altogether. One, I imagine that you guys will provision for this kind of thing in the future, but I'd just love your opinion on the value of those sort of more recent reviews.
Yeah. So look, we put it again. The Mark Andreessen, Reid Hoffman talks about when you launch, the founder of LinkedIn, he says, when you launch your product, he's like, if you're not embarrassed by your MVP, your minimal viable product, you release too late. He's like, you got to get it in the hands of consumer. So it's like, get it out there, learn from your customer, iterate. And look, we launched 4 weeks ago. So right now, the way it is just based on a pure scoring system. We are going to create a comparent score. That it'll be an algorithm based on owner reviews. Obviously, it'll be based on Vrbo reviews, Airbnb, Google My Business, and other factors as well that we can kind of start piping in. There's some really cool APIs you can do with SEMrush and Ahrefs and some of these other, even Glassdoor. You can pull in some different APIs. But if you look at some of the algorithms that are out there eventually that we'll end up doing, you definitely will give more weight to newer reviews. Because, is it really relevant, to your point, somebody left 5 stars 10 years ago? I don't know. I think it's a little bit, I put a little bit more weight into the review that was left last week. I think that's a little bit more relevant. So we are going to start working with it. The good news is the way our system is set up, we've already kind of built into the logic of the algorithm where we can actually start modifying it and pulling the weights on different areas and things like that. So maybe we give 50% weight to the homeowner reviews. Maybe we give 16% to Airbnb reviews, 16% to Vrbo. We can already, the way our system is already set up, we can actually start doing that. But right now, we don't have a comparison score. We literally just show you what is the straight out homeowner reviews, what is the Vrbo review, what is the Google My Business review, what's the Airbnb reviews. But eventually, we will kind of create that system. But that's the fun part. This is why I enjoy startups. I enjoy the challenge of it and the ideation and building it and testing it.
Make sure the little widget that you can put on other people's website gets created, by the way. Just my top tip from the outside, not doing your business, but I think that'll be invaluable, is just to have that little trust score, and then that can always link back to Comparent, which is great. I think the other good thing is, I assume that right now on Comparent, they'll have their links to their property management company.
Yeah, so the way it's set up currently is you can go in, you can claim your profile, and then the leads will actually flow through the system there. So you actually don't see the URL on the page. We want to track the leads. We want to be able to see, show how successful we are on those leads. But again, you will have the ability to capture those leads for free on the system through the platform. Eventually, we'll probably even, give some, again, we haven't even really thought about how to monetize this, but eventually we'll probably have some kind of connection to Vintory on some of the paid subscriptions, where you actually get the Vintory CRM and marketing automation platform that kind of connects to it.
Yeah. Look, and I mean, like with all these things, as Brooke just said, you guys have just started, right? So there's, very getting involved is always better than not. And then in the future, you can make decisions on whether you want to stay or not. And Brooke's job is to create a value proposition that you can't refuse, and that's why you would pay or you would stay subscribed. So don't ever panic about that kind of stuff. So get a listing, get a bunch of reviews in there, and start showing people that you've got how those reviews look.
Yeah, right? I mean, look, you've got nothing to lose. I mean, here we are going to be spending hundreds of thousands of dollars driving homeowner traffic to this website. So if you're not listed on there, or if you haven't claimed your profile, it looks like it's like trying to sell your house and it's all run down and the grass hasn't been mowed and like the windows are like broken and things like that. Like, go in there, at least claim your profile. It's publication for you. It's PR for you. We are going to be spending hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to drive homeowner traffic to this website. You might as well be listed. And again, it's 100% for free. You can start gathering homeowner reviews for free. Now, again, I'm a capitalist. I like making money. We eventually will figure out how to monetize this, but you will always have that free option. It'll probably just be some bells and whistles and upgrades and maybe some priority sorting, out of the gates that's based on paid subscribers. But realistically, you have the ability to do that. So you have nothing to lose to go in there and claim your profile or create a profile and start gathering homeowner reviews. If anything, you might end up starting some leads. I mean, it's funny. We launched this and we haven't even been trying to drive any homeowner traffic to it. We had one of our partners reach out to us and say, "Hey, yeah, I got 2 leads last week." And we're like, through Comparent, we're like, how the heck I thought they were making it up, but we logged in the system. They really did. But I don't even know how they did it, because we literally haven't even started marketing to homeowners yet. We've been really just trying to focus to get the property managers verified. So it does work. And I have no doubt this will be the primary channel that most vacation rental homeowners are using to shop and comparing for professional management. And eventually this will be the primary channel that most professional vacation rental managers end up getting new leads. So go and claim that profile, start gathering reviews.
Yep, get in quick. And then where are you guys open to at the moment? Where in the world?
Where, like, which markets? Yeah. So this is it's international. So everywhere. I think we got 2 listings last week in South Africa. So it's 100% international. This is not just to the US base. This is 100% international. Yeah. So if you're in Australia, you're in England, wherever, then claim that profile. Now, just for full transparency, we don't have a lot of. We didn't upload any of those companies outside of the U.S. But if you want to create a profile outside of the U.S., you can easily do it. It takes you less than 5 minutes to create a profile.
Gotcha. Nice. All right, awesome. Well, Mr. Brooke, I'm looking forward to tracking the success of Comparent. Also, Vintori, it's always, these are products that are incredibly important, and especially for the entrepreneur in us, if you're really looking to build your business, that's what Brooke really does well. He looks at tools that help you build a bigger business, a business which is more saleable as well in the future. So that's a good place to be. So if you're looking to go sort of beyond just managing a few properties to really building something bigger, this is a good person to follow and to watch. Brooke, what's the best way to follow you?
Yeah, I'm pretty active on LinkedIn, so you can follow me, Brooke Pfautz, on LinkedIn, or email me, Brooke, Brooke, at Vintori.com.
There you go. And we'll put the links to Comparent in the show notes so you can click through there and get your profile sorted. Brooke, wish you a very good rest of the day. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, Bart. Take care.
Take care.